Reese Witherspoon has always embodied the image of the perfect Hollywood star, graceful, accomplished, and seemingly untouched by the chaos that consumes so many others. From her breakout role in Legally Blonde to her award-winning performance in Walk the Line, she carved out a reputation as America's sweetheart, the Southern girl who made it big in Hollywood. But as she turns 49 in 2025, Reese has finally begun to share the truth behind that carefully polished image. For years, fans suspected that behind her bright smile and Southern charm, there were untold struggles, battles for respect, and a quiet determination that no one fully appreciated. Now, she is pulling back the curtain and revealing what we all long suspected, that her journey to success has been anything but easy. Born in New Orleans and raised in Tennessee, Reese Witherspoon grew up in a family that valued education, discipline, and resilience. She began acting at the age of 14, starring in The Man in the Moon, which immediately showcased her raw talent. But beneath the surface, Reese admits now that she was always trying to prove herself, not just as an actress, but as a young woman in an industry dominated by older men. Fans long suspected that her ambition was rooted in more than just a love of acting, and Reese now acknowledges that from the very beginning, she was fighting to be taken seriously. That battle shaped the woman and the powerhouse she would later become. The 1990s saw Reese move from promising teen star to legitimate Hollywood force, with roles in Fear, Pleasantville, and Election. But the breakthrough that defined her career came in 2001 with Legally Blonde, where she transformed Elle Woods into a cultural icon. What fans didn't fully realize at the time, and what she admits today, is that the film mirrored her own struggles. Just as Elle Woods had to prove her worth against prejudice and dismissal, so too did Reese fight for respect in an industry that constantly underestimated her. At 49, she has confirmed what audiences always suspected. Behind the fun of Elle Woods was a deeply personal story of defiance and resilience. Reese's personal life has always drawn headlines, particularly her marriage to actor Ryan Phillip, whom she met on the set of Cruel Intentions. Together they became one of Hollywood's golden couples, raising 2 children before their highly publicized divorce in 2007. At the time, fans suspected that the pressure of young fame and conflicting careers played a role, but Reese largely kept silent. Now, she admits that the breakdown of her marriage was one of the most painful experiences of her life, forcing her to reevaluate everything she thought she knew about love and stability. It was a heartbreak that nearly broke her, but also one that pushed her to rebuild herself from the ground up. In 2006, Reese won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her stunning portrayal of June Carter Cash in Walk the Line. It was supposed to be the crowning achievement of her career, the moment when all doubts were silenced. Yet Reese now admits that winning the Oscar brought as much pressure as joy. Fans always suspected that the award, instead of offering security, made her feel trapped in a cycle of expectation. Every role had to live up to the golden statue. At 49, she reveals that what should have been her happiest moment became a source of anxiety, fueling years of uncertainty about whether she could ever measure up again. After her Oscar win, Reese entered a career slump that shocked Hollywood. Films like Rendition and How Do You Know underperformed, and critics questioned whether she could sustain her star power. Fans suspected that Reese was quietly battling self-doubt, and she has confirmed that period was one of her lowest professionally. She describes feeling invisible in an industry obsessed with youth and beauty, wondering if her best days were already behind her. At 49, she admits that it was during this slump that she realized she needed to take control of her own career, not just wait for roles to come her way. That realization would change everything. Reese Witherspoon's response to Hollywood's doubts was nothing short of revolutionary. In 2012, she founded her production company, Pacific Standard, later expanding into Hello Sunshine, which became one of the most influential media companies in Hollywood. Fans suspected that Reese's drive to produce was about more than business, and she has confirmed it. It was about telling women's stories that Hollywood had long ignored. With hits like Wild, Gone Girl, Big Little Lies, and The Morning Show, Reese not only reinvented herself but also reshaped the industry. At 49, she has revealed that this was her greatest act of defiance. proving she wasn't just an actress, but a force of change. When Big Little Lies premiered in 2017, Reese stunned fans with both her performance and her role as producer, bringing together a powerhouse cast that included Nicole Kidman, Shailene Woodley, and Meryl Streep. The show was a cultural phenomenon, exploring issues of motherhood, abuse, and female solidarity. Fans suspected that Reese's character, Madeline, carried shades of her own personality, driven, complex, and quietly vulnerable. She has now admitted that the project was deeply personal, a reflection of her own battles with balancing motherhood, career, and personal demons. At 49, she acknowledges that Big Little Lies wasn't just a hit show, it was her declaration that women's voices belonged at the center of Hollywood storytelling. Reese's next chapter of reinvention came with Apple TV Plus' The Morning Show, where she starred opposite Jennifer Aniston. The series tackled timely issues like workplace politics, media power, and the #MeToo movement. Fans suspected that Reese, both as actress and producer, was using the show to make a broader statement, and she has confirmed that suspicion. At 49, she says the project was her way of shining a light on real struggles faced by women in the workplace, while also exploring her own identity as a professional navigating an often hostile industry. The success of The Morning Show solidified her status as both a star and a mogul. Even as her professional star soared, Reese faced challenges behind the scenes. In 2023, she and her second husband, talent agent Jim Toth, announced their divorce after nearly 12 years of marriage. Fans suspected that her demanding career and his different lifestyle played a role, and she has now revealed that while the split was amicable, it was also painful. At 49, Reese admits that balancing love, motherhood, and business empire was harder than she ever let on. She confirms that her cheerful public persona often masked exhaustion, heartache, and the constant struggle to hold everything together. In 2021, Reese sold a majority stake in Hello Sunshine for nearly $1 billion, shocking Hollywood and solidifying her as one of the most powerful women in the entertainment industry. Fans suspected that her ambitions stretched far beyond acting, and she has confirmed that this move was about building something lasting for future generations of women. At 49, she reflects on the deal not as the end of her journey but as proof of what women can achieve when they seize control of their own narratives. What was once America's sweetheart has transformed into a media mogul who is rewriting the rules of Hollywood. Now, at 49, Reese Witherspoon has finally revealed what so many suspected all along, that her success was never just about talent or luck, but about grit, heartbreak, and relentless determination. She has confirmed that behind the polished smile was a woman fighting for respect, for family, and for the chance to tell stories that matter. From Oscar winner to producer, from tabloid heartbreak to billion-dollar mogul, Reese's journey is proof that strength often hides behind vulnerability. The truth we all suspected has been laid bare. Reese Witherspoon is not just an actress, but a survivor, a pioneer, and one of the most influential figures in modern Hollywood.